Hey everybody, welcome back to the GSD Podcast. I'm your host, the Wizard of Is. This podcast is for business owners and contractors who feel stuck, confused, and uncertain of where to go in their business. And through my help and through this podcast and with the experience I have gone through, I plan to give you clarity, value, and purpose so you can have a thriving business. So in today's episode, we have a 3-part series coming up, and it is all on social media. I hope all of you guys had a great Christmas and New Year's. We're kicking things right off. It's the start of the new year, 2023, so we're going to dive right in. One thing that I want to start to go into is we've kind of started the backstory. We kind of went back. Whether you already have a business that you started, whether you're about to launch a business, whether you're a contractor that's out seeking clients, so you are your own business, but you're trying to bring in work via other businesses or just other clients. We started that groundwork where it's like, why do you want to start a business? We talked about that. We talked about what is your niche, why it's important to kind of niche down and find a specific topic. Be a master of one, not a jack of all trades. We also talked about your business unique selling point or proposition, which is a way to market yourself more specific to your client. We also talked about why you shouldn't add more services and why you should kind of be specific or complement what you're already doing. And then we also talked about understanding your client, which ties into your niche. Well, we're going to take a left turn. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit today about social media. I know some of us love it. Some of us hate it. Some of us can't get off of it. Some of us refuse to get on it. But when it comes to business, I still think it's very important that you have some sort of social media presence for your business. But an issue we run into is a lot of people are like, I don't know where to begin. It's overwhelming. I'm posting here. I'm posting there. I'm not getting anything. I don't know what to do. Hold on. It is a lot to take in. I spent years actually creating and posting social media for clients until it was overwhelming for me. And so much went on with it. And there's so much to do with it that it's hard to do it for a decent price. So we're going to dive into that in a 3-part series. And today, the first part is just going to be, what social media platform should I use? Right. Like, what should you use? So I'm going to give you a hint. It's not all of them. Unless you have an in-house team that can focus on all of them, you don't want to do all of them. So you want to start with the necessities and work up. So how do we figure that out? All right, let's jump in. So first of all, what you want to think about is social media in itself is a search channel. So what I mean by that is if someone goes on Facebook and searches for you or your business, you want to pop up. It is a search channel. It will help you out. But it doesn't mean that everything you do on Facebook is indexed by Google. So what I mean by that is if you don't have your typical like website, Google business page, if you're not on other business directories out there, which we can talk more about this later, but if you're not on things like Yelp or Yellow Pages, there's other places like Manta, a few other ones, Alignable. If you're not on these business directories, your name is out there less. But Google doesn't normally index social media channels, but they do some. We'll get to that in a second. So think of it like a business directory. If you have a business, it makes sense to have a Facebook page. What's the hard thing about a Facebook page? Well, the hard thing about a Facebook page is you almost have to pay to play. Creating a post organically is not going to hit many people. Also, creating a brand new page and trying to get followers isn't as organic as it seems either. The easiest way to get followers is to start off by inviting your own friends. And I'm sure my friends are tired of being invited to every page I've ever made and every business I've ever tried to help out. Just be mindful of that when you do that. So some of these you want to be a part of because they're a widely used platform. So let's really find out though what you need. So the first thing I would say is, where are your people? Where's your demographic? Now that you know your niche, now that you know what your customer wants, you should have a good idea of your demographic. I'm just going to throw some things out there. Let's say your demographic is middle-aged people. We'll just say in their late 30s and early 40s. Most likely you're going to find them on Facebook. A lot of them are also on Instagram now. If you want a younger audience, let's say 24 and younger, you're probably going to be marketing on TikTok, and Facebook ain't a thing for you. You might have a Facebook page just to have one for your business, but you're not going to focus your energy there. You want to focus that energy on TikTok. So you want to start to look in place. So what I say to businesses and when I'm working with them and whatnot, I say pick 2 and one that is indexed, a third one that is indexed by Google. Let's talk about that. So when I say indexed by Google, usually if you make a Facebook post and say like, hey, I'm offering blah, blah, blah services, I do services, for example, like me, I do services in video editing and Google Ads. There's not a lot of, let's say, value to that in SEO for Google to index that post, so you would never see it. I might show up when someone looks for my business. Like if you type in my business, you're going to find every place I am online. So in that sense, it helps. But if you're looking for like local Google Ads, my Facebook is probably never going to show up, but it's important to have it, but it's never going to show up. You have a better chance with your website and running ads than you do social media. So I say pick 2 channels. So think about it. So my audience, I'll use myself for an example. My audience is going to be Facebook because I'm targeting businesses and business owners. It's also going to be, believe it or not, Instagram is not a bad tool for visual stuff. I do have it. I don't use it as much, but it's not bad. But more importantly, something like YouTube. So that's why I was saying 3 channels. So for me, if I was on the flip side and coming to me and saying, what channel should I do? I would say like, well, first of all, Facebook. And then I would say LinkedIn if I'm trying to get other business people to maybe do Google Ads and video marketing. And then I would say YouTube. Now, YouTube out of those 3 is indexed by Google. So let's talk about indexing by Google. Google will index relevant information, but most social media channels, they don't index for SEO purposes. They'll index for your business, like your business name will show up, but it won't index for your services or products or things like that. So because of that, investing too much time in social media can actually not benefit you as much as you might think it does. But I still think a presence is important. Now, there are some channels that Google does index. Surprise, surprise, YouTube is one of them. Why? Because Google owns it. And a recent algorithm change in I think the last quarter of 2022, you're going to see a lot more videos in search results as before. And now you're going to start to see YouTube Shorts. And I'm sure some of you are like, which YouTube Shorts? The best way I can describe it is YouTube, but short. Or another way you could say Instagram Reels or TikTok Reels, things like that. It's like a short video content, but now YouTube Shorts are going to be indexed. And speaking of TikTok, which used to be a young kids platform, early 20s, Google's going to start indexing TikTok, and TikTok's going to start showing up in Google results too. So there's 3 platforms there, 2 happen to be YouTube, that can be indexed. So if you're looking for SEO strategy, you want one of those. For this podcast, I'm starting to use TikTok as a tool to get out there. Now, something about TikTok does not have a typical algorithm like these other platforms have. You literally can make a post and it can go viral with 1 million views by just sheer luck of it going through the right channels. That doesn't happen really on Instagram anymore. That doesn't happen on Facebook. That doesn't really happen on LinkedIn. And even with YouTube, with so many people watching YouTube daily, it's hard for that as well, unless you hit that perfect niche. So TikTok now has become a channel where you almost want to test it out and try it because the views you can get, you're not paying for. When they first launched Facebook and had business pages, whoever followed your page saw your business in the feed. Now it's less than, I think 5% can see your post. If you don't pay for Facebook, almost no one's seen your post. So again, I'm kind of throwing all these things at you, but you're probably thinking like, what platform should I use? Well, like I said, stick to that rule. Two main social media platforms and one that's indexed. So you want to think of YouTube Shorts, and TikTok as something to use, as well as what falls in your demographic. So just think of who you're targeting. All this stuff we're talking about, just building upon the next step. So what you want to do is figure it out. Figure out what those 2 platforms would be. Start small. And you know what? It's okay right now if whatever you post, let's say you're doing LinkedIn and Facebook. It's okay. Whatever you post the same on Facebook and LinkedIn. It's fine, because you want to test it. You want to see what happens. And a lot of times on Facebook, you're probably not going to get the results you want, but it's just one of those things where you don't always need a website to sell your services or product, but it's like we all have websites because it's just for, validity to be like, hey, I'm a valid business. Facebook's kind of becoming that too. You almost want a Facebook page because it makes you valid when you have a Facebook page. So it doesn't hurt to have yourself out there. And by the way, that's something else Google does too. Google does crawl all these sites. They look at the information on all these sites, and that's how they also populate information based on your businesses on these sites. So in that sense, it's good to have all these pages. But sometimes they're not as beneficial like a post on Facebook as it might be. So let's say you're running Facebook, LinkedIn. You can share the same posts on both of those. See how you get, reactions from people. Remember, it's social media. They want you to engage. So if someone comments on a post, comment back, talk back, build that engagement. That's why I said social media is tough for businesses. Doesn't matter if you're small business, medium business. If you don't have a team or the money to outsource to someone, if you can get one person on it and stick to, at least 3 platforms to start and have something consistent and respond to people, it'll be huge. It'll pay dividends for you guys to build it. Social media is a long-term game. You're going to want to do this for a long period of time to build up trust with customers, trust with clients. You're going to want to do it to also build awareness of your business. So just because you do it for a few months and you don't see anything does not mean to stop. That's the worst thing to do. But while you're doing these 2 platforms, let's say Facebook and Instagram, you throw the third one in that's indexed. I highly recommend YouTube, because if you do niche down your business, if you do figure out who your ideal client is and what they want, you can provide so much value through a YouTube video, or in this case, you can also do a YouTube short. And if you're asking, Mark, how do I do YouTube shorts? Download the YouTube app, have a YouTube channel, and you can post shorts through the YouTube app. That's how you get to YouTube shorts. Your YouTube shorts will also go on your YouTube channel too. So if you're not ready to do long form content, stick with YouTube shorts. But as a business, people want to know about the business. They want to know about you. They want to know about the services you offer. They want to know the value. They want trust built. And some of the best way is this: face-to-face or listening to someone from the business talk. So it is beneficial to have a YouTube. And when you YouTube, everything that's in the description, all your keywords, everything you have is indexed by Google. And you know what's even better is if you make YouTube videos on how to ... or what to ... Anything that's a question someone might ask, if you can create a video around questions people would ask, that will help you in your search results on YouTube and also on Google. Go to Google, just type in how to dance, and I guarantee you the first thing that pops up is going to be videos before any type of, web page. So think of that. You can really use this to your advantage in business. A lot of people used to think hiring someone to help out with social media, help out with videos was pointless and not worth the money. And I can tell you, I highly, highly disagree too. If you have someone, you don't see the dividends in the beginning, but you'll see the dividends in the end of someone working on that stuff. So part 1 of this 3-part series for social media is what platform should you use? That's the trick. Pick 2 and then 1 that's indexed, stick to them and post to them. And you know what? From there, figure it out. Have someone in-house do it. If you got a big team, hit every platform. If you have to outsource it, but realize year after year, it's costing more money to market on social media because of what's expected and how much has to go into it. And video is a big factor too. So now you're hiring people to edit videos and put those together for you. So start small, pick 2, and then a third one that's indexed, and you'll be good to go. Next episode, we're going to talk about making sure your social media looks cohesive, because how that can actually deter people from your brand. So until then, thanks for listening. Check out the website, thewizardofiz.com. You can go on there and actually make donations to the show. It does cost a bit to run the show and make the show, so you can set donations. I also have a private community on a Patreon that you can join on, where you get additional extras, extra podcast shows, and we can communicate in a community together and talk more, and it'll help actually promote the show and help this show run so I can bring more content to you and start to bring guests to you as well. So I appreciate you all for listening. Tune in next week where we talk a little bit more on social media. Thanks.